When they start talking, when the people who I fight, when they start talking, that's when y'all get dumb. I'ma beat his ass.
He can't do shit.
For real. I better be quiet.
You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, you got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, don't.
How many rematches have you fought?
0.
What do you have to do to create enough separation where this don't happen again?
Whew, it's a good question. It's gonna be based on my training camp. I have to push myself a little harder. If that didn't get me the win, and I have room. I definitely have room.
Tensions boiled over when Gervonta Tank Davis crashed the press conference, delivering a bold threat to Lamont Roach and yelling, "He's ending Lamont right in front of everyone!" The scene was electric, pulsing with tension and unresolved anger, as both fighters stared each other down, setting the stage for their rematch. Cameras snapped, fans buzzed, and Davis wasn't there to exchange pleasantries. He came to make noise. What erupted was a verbal brawl that reignited excitement across the boxing scene, promising a rematch driven by ego, rivalry, and vengeance left undone.
What's good, guys? Red Corner Boxing here. So the Ring magazine has today confirmed that Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. 2 will take place on August 16th in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a great fight. We need to see it again. Who wins it and how, lads? Let us know here on Red Corner Boxing.
Promoter Gary Jonas shed some light on the negotiations for the rematch. While he didn't give too many details, Jonas did say that the second bout between Davis and Roach Jr. is all but finalized. Let's hear what he got to say right now.
Important question on everyone's mind. How close is the rematch? How big will it be? How close is it to getting done?
Very close. It's in my mind, it's a done deal, but there are formalities, but it's a done deal and it's not far off.
The rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr., originally booked for June 21, 2025 at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, was delayed due to several reasons. Chief among them was Davis's request for more time to train, as he believed he wasn't ready yet. Additionally, financial hurdles faced by Premier Boxing Champions, the event's promoter, further contributed to the rescheduling. Together, these complications pushed the fight to August 16, 2025, while the venue remains unchanged. With their first fight ending in a controversial draw, this highly awaited rematch holds even more significance now.
How you think one coming up with Tank?
I hope he don't fight Lamont, actually. Like, I hope he don't get in the ring with him again. Because at the end of the day, if he lose, it's just gonna look bad on the fight with me. So it's gonna look like somebody else already did it.
You want Tank to knock you out, yo? I didn't say like, yo, want to fight Tank, and that's nice, but why do you want Tank to knock you out so bad? Like,
look, that sound good. That sound real good, but she's too little.
Too little.
I promise you, he's too little.
Lamont is signed and ready to go for the rematch, correct?
Yeah, we signed, sealed, delivered. Y'all, Tank plays so many head games, it's not even funny. Let me tell you something, bro. Lamont Roach has never been this big of a fighter before. Everyone knows Lamont Roach now. So he could be reaping the benefits of just enjoying his status of having that draw with Tank, while Tank is the one with the eye of the tiger. Tank is probably in the gym training his ass off and then sign the contract like, all right, we got to fight when? June. Oh shit, let's hurry up and dash your ass. Sugar Ray Leonard did that to Roberto Duran. Duran was told that he had a fight in a couple weeks and he was like, dude, I'm 190 pounds in Panama, which is why Roberto Duran was out of shape in the No Mas fight and was like, no mas. So Tank could be over there working, sign the contract in 3 weeks, and all of a sudden Lamont Roach got to put a training camp together.
Their original clash took place on March 1st, 2025, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn and ended in a majority draw, splitting opinions among fans and experts. One judge scored it 115-113 for Davis, while the other two had it even at 114-114. A key flashpoint came in the 9th round when Davis went down after a jab from Roach. However, the referee ruled it wasn't a knockdown, a controversial decision that stirred debate among analysts and fans who believed it could have swayed the fight's final outcome.
For me, Tank Davis fighting a minus 1600 as your main event odds is crazy to me, dude. That's crazy. That underdog lived up to the hype. He ended up, overperforming. Lamont Roach, credit to him, all this other stuff. And it took some politics to keep Davis as champion. You ever see guys getting the referee their own fight? Dude, anybody else takes that knee, you're getting counted, bro. The referee, actually, his instinct, if you watch that, the referee's instinct was to count. If you notice, Steve Willis started counting, and then he looked at the timekeeper outside the ring, wasn't counting, and he stopped counting. So you get to call your own timeout. You know, earlier in the fight, if you saw that shoulder barge that Tank did to Roach in the clinch, he didn't get a warning, but Roach's reaction got the warning. This is the politics we're dealing with. You keep doing this, you're looking at short-term money and long-term destruction of a sport.
Davis blamed distractions for his performance, pointing specifically to eye irritation caused by hair products and the lack of ring girls, which he said threw off his mental focus. Despite these problems, Davis didn't dodge accountability. He admitted to underperforming and accepted fault for not pushing harder when it mattered most. In his own words, "I definitely could have done more. That's on me." This admission shed light on the internal struggles Davis faced leading into the fight and reinforced the need for better preparation next time around.
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but you know, it's not my business.
Critics argue that Davis deliberately took a knee in the 9th round against Roach to throw off his opponent's rhythm and gain a tactical reset. By dropping down, Davis may have been trying to create a pause in Roach's attack rather than risking a full-on assault. Many believe it was a calculated move, one that allowed him extra time to gather himself. Among analysts and fans alike, this has been labeled a seasoned veteran's trick, cleverly intended to break Roach's momentum during a key stretch of the fight.
And to go ahead and keep it real with y'all, I think that knee that Tank took was because Lamont Roach was in a rhythm and Gervonta Davis tried to throw this man off a rhythm. Do I believe the Murray's sport waves, the soul glow was in his eye? Absolutely not. I believe that man Tank got nerve-eye and said, hold on, this man Lamont Roach is cooking. I need to take me a quick timeout and a quick break. It's nasty. It's horrible. It's disgusting. It's bad enough how hard and difficult it is to beat this man. Most fighters is weight drained. Most fighters has clauses on them. So when somebody who's coming up is able to compete with Gervonta Tank Davis, you handicap the man with trash rulings.
Davis explained that the 9th round moment came from irritation caused by a hair treatment done 2 days before the fight. He said grease from the product mixed with sweat during the bout and burned his eyes. Addressing fans in the post-fight interview, Davis showed visible frustration with the crowd's boos, stating that his reaction wasn't a ploy, but a natural response to discomfort. He maintained that the knee wasn't part of a strategy, but rather a result of pain that disrupted his vision unexpectedly mid-fight.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning, and you know, like you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than, you know. But I didn't really know that you can like get disqualified for all that, or like when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
Reactions to Davis's explanation have been divided, with many fans and analysts questioning whether it should have been scored a knockdown. Regardless of the reasoning, the controversy surrounding the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach fight has escalated. The New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, has now opened an official review. According to Boxing Kingdom, technical issues delayed an immediate look at the 9th round event where Davis took a knee. Critics argue it clearly should have counted in Roach's favor, possibly changing the fight's entire outcome.
Even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown. I thought I should have won a competitive fight. I think I did what I needed to do necessary to bank the rounds. I'm just a little frustrated with the scorecards. I thought I should have won.
After the contentious draw, Roach's camp filed an appeal with the Athletic Commission in hopes of reversing the decision. The appeal hinges on the 9th round, when Davis dropped to a knee following a jab from Roach. Referee Steve Willis began a count, but stopped at 3, allowing Davis to retreat to his corner, where his trainer wiped his eyes, a breach of protocol. Davis later blamed eye irritation from hair grease, but the moment continues to spark debate over whether the fight should have been ruled differently.
It ain't no timeouts in boxing. Why are you taking? You know that. You should know that. So that's the thing where I'm like confused, because that's supposed to be a knockdown. That's a 10-8 round. If that's a 10-8 round, I win the fight. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that draw turned into a 114 my way.
Going in, okay, it's round 10, right? You see that you down on the scorecard.
George Kambosos Jr. didn't hold back when weighing in on Davis after the disputed draw with Roach. Kambosos praised Roach's performance, emphasizing his composure and grit throughout the bout. He expressed admiration for how Roach managed to test Davis, a challenge few have met. Reflecting on the fight, Kambosos questioned whether Davis has what it takes to face elite opponents. The 9th round knee, which went unruled as a knockdown, became the focal point of controversy, with many fans believing Roach did enough to win outright.
Make of that fight on the weekend, what'd you make of the controversy in that one?
Look, I had just finished my recovery session, so I was pretty docile and relaxed, and then the fight, especially the start of it, wasn't too thrilling and too action-packed, so I was starting to doze off a little bit, but I woke up a little bit more when obviously Lamont started giving him some work, and he looked good, man. I got to give respect to Lamont Roach. He proved a lot of guys wrong. I think he shocked Tank a lot with what he was able to bring, and again, we saw the controversy with the knee. To me, that's a knockdown. You can't just take a knee and decide to, go to your corner and get your face wiped. So, if that's a 10-8 round, Lamont wins the fight. So it's unfortunate, but that's the fight game. Hopefully they'll do it again and he gets paid, what he's worth.
Have you ever seen anything like that in boxing before? A guy sort of just voluntarily.
We've seen Floyd take a knee and be put on the count. We've seen Miguel Cotto.
Jake Paul has also confirmed that if Gervonta Davis defeats Lamont Roach in the rematch, they will resume talks for a future exhibition bout. Although they fight in different weight classes, Paul at cruiserweight, 195 lbs, and Davis at lightweight, 135 lbs, the planned exhibition would span 10 rounds. Talks were nearly finalized before being paused after Davis's draw. Should both men win their upcoming fights, the bout could take place later this year. With trainer Kenny Ellis by his side, Davis is preparing intensely, aiming for total focus and flawless execution this time around.
But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
How real, or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
Reuniting with Coach Calvin Ford injects a different spark into Gervonta Davis's training camp. Their connection runs deeper than boxing. It's built on loyalty, history, and growth. Coach Calvin has played a crucial role in Davis's evolution, transforming raw skill into polished excellence over the years. Every major triumph in Davis's career has had Calvin's influence behind it. His experience and guidance continue to be the backbone of Davis's preparations, offering strategic insights and emotional grounding as Tank gears up for another defining moment in the ring.
Who's doing the interview circuit, right? Kind of being a little bit out of character leading into the rematch. Do you think, and this is what Mill City asked, do you think that is something you guys are taking in consideration in preparation for the fight? And what Kenny Ellis said was, look, man, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We know what Lamont Roach brings to the table, and he says that Lamont Roach is, we're not believing that he's out there drinking or blowing up a bunch of weight and all of that. He says what most people say, hey, we're going to prepare for the best version of Lamont Roach that is going to, that'll come for us. But the way that he saw the fight coming out was he said he sees it like the fight before, a lot of really crisp shots landing. and the fight is going to be similar. But hey, the fight at the same time is going to be very different. Now, I just happen to have a very good friend named Phoenix the Assassin who breaks down fights for me. He's a trainer. Got a world-class eye for fights. And what he speculated should be the difference between the first fight and the second fight for Gervonta is that Gervonta is going to need to spend a lot more time fighting on the outside and scoring points for a longer period of time on the outside, and then making sure that, and basically forcing Lamont Roach to try to initiate something with slower hands, score his points, and get out. And he said the reason that he believes that Lamont Roach would be able to do that.
Veteran analyst Jim Lampley voiced doubt about Roach's odds in a rematch even before their first clash. He pointed out Davis's southpaw stance, crafty defense, fluid footwork, and vicious instinct in the ring. Lampley especially highlighted Davis's knockout power, comparing it to a young Mike Tyson's explosiveness. Though he recognized Roach's talent, Lampley predicted the younger fighter would have difficulty neutralizing Davis's advantages. His commentary fueled discussions about whether Roach had what it takes to overcome someone with Davis's level of technical skill and punching force.
All right, Sean Zattel here with the legendary Jim Lampley, PPV.com, and called a controversial draw tonight. The crowd inside Barclays, they did not like it. What did you think of the verdict, Jim? Was it the right call?
An upset draw is always a mixed bag for fans, for people in the sport, et cetera, et cetera. I thought it was, in essence, the right decision. The only question about whether the upset draw is justified is whether Steve Willis erred in not deducting a point in a late round when Tank Davis appeared to touch the canvas with his hand. And, you know, that is going to stay in the woodwork and haunt the fight in the breach a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's a setback in Tank's career and for his reputation. I think most observers expected him to knock Roach out, particularly because Roach was moving up from 130 to 135. Sometimes when a fighter moves up in weight, he gets stronger, and it looked as though maybe Roach did get stronger and had a greater ability to resist Tank's power than other opponents have had, because Tank did tag him with a lot of clean shots.
Roberto Diaz, an advisor to Lamont Roach Jr., acknowledged Davis's skills, calling him one of the top fighters globally. Diaz respected Davis's power and track record, but voiced confidence in Roach's own development. He highlighted Roach's deep amateur background and recent improvements. According to Diaz, those experiences, combined with having already shared the ring with Davis, give Roach an edge heading into the rematch. He believes familiarity with Davis's style and Roach's growth as a fighter could be decisive factors in determining the bout's outcome.
Thanks for that touchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Wow.
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon Taylor here, True School Sports. I'm with Roberto Diaz. Roberto, good to see you as always.
Likewise, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, for sure. You're part of Lamont Roach's camp. Well, what's your official role with Lamont Roach?
I'm an advisor for him.
Okay, so you guide him on how to make certain decisions?
Correct.
Okay.
We've been together for many years since his pro debut back in the days at Golden Boy, and after we both parted ways, we hooked up.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting because, you know, now that you guys are not with Golden Boy, you're still together. So
absolutely,
you guys must have had a good relationship when you were at Golden Boy.
Always had a good relationship with him and his father, and obviously I'm honored and just, you know, honored to be a part of him. And when I got the call to continue working with him, it was a no-brainer for me.
Okay. A lot of the boxing media and the boxing fans are overlooking Lamont Roach, and they're angry that Tank isn't getting fights against Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, these kind of guys. But what can you, from someone that's been with him from the beginning, what can you say about the talent level of Lamont Roach?
I don't blame the fans, but it's a little bit of the unknown for them. It's a little bit of they don't know who he is. On Saturday night, they're going to know who he is. They're going to respect him, and they're going to become fans. One thing about Lamont is he fought all the styles. The kid has the talent. The kid has the want, but he's never had the opportunity to be on this type of stage. Now it is. Now it's on him. He's put in the work. The talent's there. The hunger's there. He knows what a win means. And here's where it's important. The fans are okay not to know, because until they are introduced, like they know who Shakur is, they know who these other guys is. They'll know on Saturday. But most importantly, Tank knows what he's facing, because he brought in two of the best trainers in boxing. Not one, but two, because he knows what he has in front of him.
Kenny Ellis, one of Davis's coaches, defended the choice of Lamont Roach as a worthy opponent. He pointed to Roach's 7 national titles and decorated amateur history. Ellis addressed the criticism from fans, stating that overlooking Roach would be a major mistake. Both fighters, he said, have grown since their amateur rivalry. A rematch, in Ellis's view, would highlight their evolution and offer fans a high-level display of boxing adaptability and experience. He's confident that the upcoming bout will surpass expectations and prove both men's elite caliber.
Do you feel like that fight with Tank, the rematch with Roach, is bigger than perhaps Shakur Stevenson fight now?
Yeah, for sure.
Tell me why.
Yeah,
tell me.
He got in the ring with Tank with no hesitation.
Okay.
For the hell of a fight. You know? Everybody want to see it again, and Shakur's last 3 fights, they criticized him, you know? Because of his style of fight. No offense to him, but this is the reality. People criticize because of the way he fight, you know? And they don't want to see that. They'd rather see Roach again, you know?
Who do you think emerges victorious this time around? Drop your predictions in the comments below.